Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to the iconic Martinsville Speedway, the famed paperclip hidden in the hills of Southern Virginia. Martinsville, Virginia, that's exactly where we are here tonight for what's going to be the Ridgeway 125. And alongside me, my partner in crime / extracurricular duties tonight, Mr. Kelly Dahl. You're wearing a few hats here tonight, but welcome to Martinsville.
I mean, wearing a few hats, I just have to press one extra button a couple times tonight, and hopefully it won't be very many times tonight. Hopefully we will have a nice, clean race, but it is Martinsville Speedway. That is not exactly a track that is conductive to nice, clean racing.
No, we got our drivers signed in here tonight. A little bit light on the car count side, but not going to be light in action. Martinsville Speedway, one of those racetracks you're going to see a lot of bumper tags banging. And not only that, Kelly, our two drivers that are up towards the top of this standings are going to be starting at the rear of the field. We'll go over the points here momentarily as we look at tonight's race information with the Martinsville. They have had 7 races here. They've only had one other ARCA race. And the most recent winner was the spring of 2025 with Brian Hacker picked up the win. Taking a look at those point standings, though, coming in here tonight as we look at that. Ryan Johnson is leading over Randy Nichols by a mere 3 points, Kelly. And as I alluded to it earlier, they both have to start at the back of the pack here tonight.
Yeah, both Ryan Johnson and Randy Nichols getting an EOL, one because of winning last week, one because of winning 2 weeks ago because they couldn't serve it last week due to some issues with the admin controls in the sim. But they will have to now serve it this week, which I'm sure at Martinsville they were hoping to not have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Martinsville, one of those tracks that is going to be painful to there as we look at this already 5 weeks in. As this will be week number 6. We kick the back half of the series as qualifying gets ready to take place here. We're going to find out who's going to take that Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award here tonight. And we'll see that here as the cars start to get ready, warmed up and out onto the racetrack. And the first one out, well, he's just looking for those points, Kelly, the 38 of Ryan Johnson. And it's going to be interesting, these cars, the heavy wheeled cars now. We're used to seeing these drivers out there with the late model stocks, super late models, and of course the beloved Sandy Paws Street Stock Series when they visit the Martinsville Speedway. Tonight, though, the heavy ARCA stock cars, the Grand National Stock Tour for the North-South Racing League here is lap number 1 going to go into the books for Ryan Johnson. And we will see his lap time populate, and it was a fast time of 19.76 seconds.
Josh Nelm's going to be coming across the line next year to put up his first time. We'll see what he gets as comes across. He will be with a 19.544, so he will jump past Ryan Johnson, who will immediately take that spot back. 19.3 for Ryan Johnson. He sets the new fast time. Adam Gebel now coming across the line with a 19.499, so just under 19.5 seconds. Josh Nelms jumping right back to the top, so he's going to get the top spot for now with a 19.372 as a few more drivers come out onto the racetrack.
A few more drivers watching the 91 of Gebel come across line. Lap number 2 going to be just a little bit slower, and our first driver that we see go slower on lap number 2. How about J.J. McRae, Canada's favorite race car driver, up on the top of the board with a 19.253. Kelly, I totally made that up. Do not hit me in the booth again.
I was just about to say, man, Greg Moore was the greatest.
Oh, throwing shade at McRae. Wow.
No. Saying that no one could top Greg Moore.
All right. How about Guillaume Fortin? You like him?
Guillaume's definitely quick around a short track. And we'll see what he's going to be able to do tonight here. He's out on the racetrack, but Scott Austin is going to be the next one to set a lap time here, just finishing out his last corner. Coming to the line, there was a little bit of wiggle off of turn 4. Let's see if that's going to affect his time. It's going to be down there, 19.9. I think he was just trying to get those tires up to temper. Same with Jeff Bergener, who puts in a 22nd. So these guys are trying to put a little heat in their tires, trying to not overcook them, and see if they can get some grip on that second lap. Randy Nichols now out on the track as well. Guillaume also puts down a very slow time in his first lap. Scott Austin on his second lap, he's able to go 5th fastest, along with Jeff Bergener, both of them putting 19.4s in.
On board with Guillaume Fortin. He's going to come off turn number 4. Fortin crosses the line, and he's going to jump to P number 2, a 19.270. 19.270 as Randy Nichols will come to a stop. P number 10 with a 19.776. Next car up onto the racetrack is the 55, the Blue Oval Racing entry. We saw him on the Turn 3 Racing Network a couple weeks ago at another league's Snowball Derby. He is a short track man around here, the 55. This is Scott Negus. Negus running a full-time schedule this season with the Grand National Stock Series and calls Monday Night Home with the North-South Racing League. And Kelly, we're in the back half of this season. We will have a short break after race 10. But then we go right back into full short track action with the late model stock cars, and I'm really looking forward to that season as we get closer to that. If you are out there interested in joining the North-South Racing League, send them a message on the Facebook page. They'll get you all squared away and what you need to do to become a member of the league. As Negus is going to go 6th quick here, and that just leaves 2 drivers left to qualify, and just got about 30 seconds left. Not sure if they're even going to be able to get time to get out there, Kelly.
Yeah, it looks like they will not be setting a time, so our field will be set here, ready for our redraw very shortly. And we will figure out where the drivers will actually be starting out tonight's race.
That we will. It all depends where they draw that lucky hat out of there. And while we got a moment, let's take a look here and thank our great friends that sponsor the Grand National Series here for the North-South Racing League. And we wouldn't be able to do it without them. And that is none other than our Sandy Paws Rescue. If you're looking to help out an animal, head on over to Sandy Paws Rescue. See how you can help out today. RC2 Graphic Solutions and Promotions is a proud sponsor of the North-South Racing League. If you have something to become a reality, stop on over, give Robbie a message. He can make it all happen. ZooFab Garage. Get that car tuned up and get it ready to go with ZooFab Garage. Proud sponsor of the North-South Racing League, and Mad Plowing out of Oregon, Wisconsin. A proud sponsor of the North-South Racing League. We'll talk a little bit about them. But right now, Kelly, another great sponsor, the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw coming up to us. And as you can tell, brought to us by J&D Farms. It's not your average sponsor, but J&D Farms was the brainchild of a self-proclaimed crazy redneck who just thought iRacing was cool and wanted to see his name on the broadcast. And, well, we respect that. So whether you're to pull the lucky number 1 or get stuck with a dreaded number 8, it's all thanks to the J&D Farms supporting racing, supporting the show, and an official legend of the North-South Racing League. And, Kelly, I believe we're starting to get everyone populated up here for this portion of the show as we look at that as we get ready to go. And it's going to be J.J. McCrae. Welcome to the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw, JJ. And I got to let you know, I called you the greatest racer that Canada has, and Kelly disagreed with me. I don't know how you feel about that.
I just said that Greg Moore is the greatest.
Hey, I'm just...
I like your opinion on that.
So he's like, all right, well, I think you're the best. So best out there in qualifying, grabbing the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award here tonight in this series. So what do you think we can expect out of this little short track of a race tonight?
I'm excited to see how it goes. I think the car is going to tighten up over the run and kind of make passing a little difficult and whatnot. So this group usually keeps it pretty clean. So we might get some long runs where we'll see what happens, but we'll just take it as it comes.
All right, sir. Well, you get the pick of the litter 1 through 8. You get to choose. Which number would you like here tonight to see where you will be starting?
I think I'll have to take my father's number 7.
Number 7. That's going to move you back a little bit. The P7 on the grid. Can you get it done from there here tonight at 125 laps?
We'll see what happens. I'm not sure I would have been able to get it done from the pole with this group of guys. I think starting back there will make it a little funner and take some pressure off.
All right, well, congratulations on setting the fast time here tonight in qualifying, and good luck here in the race. Hopefully we're talking to what I feel is Canada's best driver, J.J. McRae.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll have to talk to you later.
All right, J.J. McRae going to roll off from P number 7, Kelly, as you will talk to another great Canadian competitor, Guillaume Fortin.
Yeah, catching up now with Guillaume Fortin. And Guillaume, it is a very tight track here tonight, but how is the car feeling? Is it tight as well, or are you feeling a little loose?
The car feels pretty tight, but hopefully it loosen up with the run that we're gonna have. But the car feels great. Glad to be back on a short track.
And this is definitely a short track here. Martinsville, the quintessential short track. Are you expecting a lot of bumping and banging from these guys?
Usually we can keep it pretty clean, but I think there's gonna be some hard racing between everybody, so I think it's gonna be a fun one.
Well, for the redraw here tonight, number 7 has been taken. Other than that, the choice is yours. What would you like tonight?
I'll go with number 5.
Number 5 coming off the board, and this may help you out a bit. You're sliding back, but only one spot. It is going to be on the inside of row 2, P3. Do you think the inside is a big deal here on that first start?
Oh yeah, I think so. With fresh tires, I think the inside's gonna be way quicker, so I'm glad I can be in the inside line.
All right, well, we'll see if you can get it done here tonight from third place. Good luck to you, Guillaume.
Thank you.
So Guillaume gets the lucky draw, gets the start on the inside row. But Al, the pole is still out there.
Pole is still out there. The next driver we're going to talk to, the driver of the 00 of Josh Nelms. And we'll bring Josh up here into the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw. And Josh, car looking pretty quick out there. What's it going to take to stay quick and maybe end up here in our simracerhub.com victory lane?
Save tires. I think it's going to be a tire wear situation tonight, and just got to conserve and try to break this thing down to one stop if we can, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, sir. The numbers 5 and number 7 have been chose already. The good news for you, all the other numbers are available, and one includes the pole. We got to figure out which one it is. What number would you like?
Do number 3.
Number 3. Well, that's going to move you up one spot. You're going to start on the outside of the front row. Some fresh air on the front of that Chevrolet. Can you get it done from the outside of the front row?
That would be a negative. We're here to have some fun. There's a lot of good guys in this league, and we're just going to have some fun tonight and hopefully bring home a top 5 finish.
All right, sir. Well, best of luck to you, Josh, and thank you for taking time to talk with us in the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw.
Thank you.
All right, Josh Nelm's going to roll off from the outside of the front row, Kelly, as you'll catch up now with the driver of the number 2, Dan Janjanin.
Yeah, here now with Dan Janjanin. Dan, we're under the lights here tonight. How much is that going to help with saving that right front tire?
Absolutely none.
No, you still think everyone's going to be beating it up, and especially on turn entry here?
Absolutely. I know I am.
All right, well, hopefully your tire conservation can work a little bit in your favor here later on tonight, but we got to get through the redraw here. Your choices tonight are 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8. All the even numbers except for 1 are left.
I'll go with 2.
You'll go with 2, and that is going to slide you back a little bit. That is going to be P8 here for you tonight.
Ah, that sucks. Oh well.
Well, still a lot of time. 125 laps up on the board here tonight. Do you think you can still make a move towards the front?
Honestly, no, it's going to be really hard.
All right. Well, we'll see what the race will hold for you here tonight. Good luck to you, Dan.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
So Dan Jan pulls out the unlucky number 8, but Al, it's pretty much just an even split between the inside and outside rows now.
It sure
for
is.
what's left.
It sure is, Kelly. That pole's still available out there as we talk to the next driver in the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw, and that would be the driver of the Blue Oval Racing, Scott Nichols. And Scott, going to start here tonight in the Top 8 redraw. That's always a good start to the night.
It's a great start, buddy.
Well, we are here at Martinsville. We know you love your short track racing. As we've been on the bigger tracks now, kind of getting back into for a night of what this league is used to. How is this car, or what do you think you can get out of this car and maybe get up to victory lane?
It's going to be a game of survival, I think. It feels like I'm getting really good tire wear. I've been doing some long runs, so it feels great. But just want to stay out of trouble tonight, that's all.
All right, sir. Well, you can the pole's still out there, just so you know. So you can choose 1, 4, 6, or 8. What number would you like?
Let's go with number 1.
Number 1. Well, that's going to take care of the pole. As Scott, you will lead us to the green flag.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, Scott, you're welcome. We'll hopefully talk to you here at the end of the Ridgeway 125.
I hope so, too.
All right. Scott Nichols will roll off and on the pole, Kelly, and that means we'll move down to the next driver, the number 5 of Scott Austin.
Yeah, catching up now with Scott Austin. And Scott, it is a track that is known for many things, but what are you expecting here tonight?
Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. Hopefully it's a good race tonight. We got a smaller field of cars, so that should keep everything moving along nicely. So we'll try to advance our position either at the end and hopefully stay clean this one.
All right, well, for the redraw here, we have got one inside row spot left, which I believe everyone is going to be wanting here for the initial start. Your choices here tonight are 4, 6, and 8.
We'll take the 4.
Taking number 4, well, it is going to be one of the outside row spots, but it is in the second row. So a P4 start here for you tonight. You think you can get it done from up there?
We'll try. I think we'll bide our time like usual, and hopefully we'll be up here talking to you guys at the end of it.
And hopefully you will be. Good luck to you, Scott.
Thank you, guys.
So that is Scott Austin. We're going to have to quickly move along to our last 2 drivers here, Al.
Yeah, we are. As next one up is the driver of the 21, Jeff Bergner, into the top 8 redraw presented by J&D Farms. We'll get the number out of the way first there. Jeff, you can choose 6 or the number 8. What number would you like?
Oh, let's see. I chose 7 last week for 7. Let's go with 8 this week.
8. Well, it's going to be a good starting spot for you. It's going to be the inside of row number 3. It'll start P number 5, but probably a good thing to be on the inside here at Martinsville.
Oh, most definitely, especially when you don't have talent like I do. So, yeah, and being on the inside is going to help.
Well, sir, we wish you the best of luck here tonight. We look forward to see what this car can do. Hopefully a little bit better luck than last week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
All right, you too, Jeff. That's Jeff Bergner. He'll be rolling off in P number 5, Kelly, and you'll catch up with admin Adam Gebel.
Yeah, catching up now with Adam Gebel. And Adam, the bad news is the drivers did not leave you much here for you tonight. It is going to be a P6 start for you. So still up towards the front of the field, but it is an outside row start. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's better than what I qualified.
You know, that's always a good way to look at it. You do get to move up just a little bit. And maybe you can continue that move up towards the front before the end of this race. It's still 125 laps, lots of time to get things done. And looks like we're just about to go to the grid, so we will let you go. Good luck to you, Adam.
All right, thanks.
All right, that will do it for the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw. And thank you to J&D Farms for being a legend of the North-South Racing League. And just like that, everyone's coming back from getting their hot dogs at the concession stands. We've got, man, Kelly, have you ever been to Martinsville?
I have not.
Martinsville, those hot dogs are famous. You have to go. If you do go, I'll meet you down there and I'll buy you a hot dog. But look at the stands. They are jam-packed, ready to go with tonight's starting field, which will look like this. Starting on tonight's pole will be the driver of the 55, that's Scott Nichols. Outside of him will be car number 00, that is Josh Nelms. Canadian Guillaume Fortin will roll off third, and outside of him will be the number 5 of Scott Austin. Jeff Bergner and Adam Gebel will make up row number 3. Starting on the inside of row number 4 is J.J. McCrae, tonight's L Speed Shot Fast Time Award winner. And the number 2 of Dan Janjanin will roll off in P number 8. Brian Troya will roll off 10th, with the driver behind them will be Randy Nichols, Dylan Connor, and starting shotgun on the field per the grid will be Rodney Huntoon, but we know that Randy Nichols and Ryan Johnson will be starting 12th and 13th as the field paces behind the iRacing.com pace truck. The drivers start to put their only one lone Toyota in the field here tonight, and that would be Dylan Connors, who's got his work cut out for him half in the start from the back of the field.
Yeah, it is a difficult track to pass at. Only one real line around here, so it's going to be a track where you really have to save those tires, try to make enough of a tire gap that you can cut under that driver in front of you. And it is going to be a tough task for those drivers that are starting towards the back of the field.
That it is the pace truck. Makes the hard left-hand turn into the pace, into the infield. This field in the hands of the driver of the number 55. He'll roll off turn number 4 into that Sandy Paws restart zone. Green flag is up, and Scott spins the tires, stacks that inside lane up, allows Nelms and the 5 of Austin to get on through, and we are underway in the Ridgeway 125.
Yeah, he immediately lost spots there to Josh Nelms and Scott Austin, who jumped ahead of him. And now look at Guillaume Fortin. He is already looking right up the tailpipe of the 55 of Scott Nichols, trying to find his way through there. Nearly everyone has gotten single file here, except for Adam Gebel, who has now got clear of the 12. So he will be able to hang on to 7th place at the moment, as he dropped just a little bit back there off the start.
He did just a little bit there. Right behind him is your current high points man of Randy Nichols and Ryan Johnson. Those drivers came in. 3 points separating them too. And while tonight they had the start at the back of the pack together as Huntoon up the racetrack as he had the check up. That's going to allow the 69 and the 38 to get on by, moving Huntoon back to the 10th spot. Now under fire from the number 90 of Connor. So Huntoon rolling back in the wrong direction. Just got in there, had to lock it up and washed up the racetrack. Gets back into a groove.
And the same thing has basically happened. Adam Gebel just kind of overshot the entry, and that has allowed Randy Nichols up the inside. And Ryan Johnson trying to just follow him through, but there's too much of a gap. Gebel's going to get down and separate those two cars that are trying to charge towards the front, the two championship rivals. But Randy Nichols has already gotten all the way up into 7th place here after only 5 laps.
Yeah, first 5 laps being completed, and it is a 91 of Gebel in between those two, and Nichols starting to pull away up front, though. Josh Nelms and the McCannon number 0 out front over the number 5 of Austin, and that finish line designs, Austin Designs, finish line construction on the side of that car. That's Scott's business here in the Illinois area. Hit up finish line.
Scott Negus going up the track in 3 and 4 allows both Fortin and Bergener to get on through. So Negus drops back into 5th. JJ McRae now the next car looking to try to get past him, but Negus looking to recover. He's starting to get himself all the way right back to the bumper of the 21 in front of him. Up towards the front of the field, it is still Josh Nelms over Scott Austin. Austin has been closing the gap just a little bit. He's down to about a third of a second. And now he's also got to keep an eye on that mirror because the 13 QC of Guillaume Fortin is closing up.
We know how good of an ace Fortin is on the short tracks as he runs in that 3rd position as he closes in on that battle. One thing about Martinsville, though, Kelly, is you can get there, but it's really hard to make a move. You got to almost force your competitor into a mistake, or you got to use that chrome horn to make some moves around the racetrack. As you look a little bit deeper, Ryan Johnson now takes a look underneath Adam Gebel, and Gebel overshoots the corner once again in that 2nd lane. Side by side. Oh, no contact off of turn number 4. It looks like Gebel able to do so, but you're starting to see those brake rotors glow a little bit, and you saw a little bit of a tussle between the 12 and the 90. Huntoon and Dylan Connor making a little bit of contact. Jan Janin right there as well. Tempers may flare here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway for the Ridgeway 125.
Guillaume Fortin has closed up to our lead pair here, so he's made it a 3-way battle, but it is pretty much an even gap of about 2 or 3 tenths between each of these drivers. No one's really been able to try to make a move just yet. They're trying to just hold out, see who's got the longer run, and maybe see if one of these guys will make a little bit of a mistake and overshoot one of these corners.
Yeah, Fortin doing a good job pressuring as we were on board with the Sandy Paws rescue onboard camera with Josh Nelms here just for a little bit, and just a lot of off the throttle time here, Kelly. And then I suspect didn't go down into the garage area too much here today as they were busy working on these race cars. I suspect they should be able to go quite a while on some fuel, so maybe a 1-stop race here tonight with the amount of time that they're off the throttle.
Yeah, a couple drivers were talking about how it could be a 1-stop, but it might be a little bit of a tight squeeze in order to do that. But we've seen a few drivers here have been able to stretch that fuel a long ways. So we'll see what these guys are capable of tonight. And I think a lot of these guys are just pushing hard early on here. I know Guillaume certainly is. He's now right on the bumper of Scott Austin.
Yeah, he's trying to make a move there as he follows in the footsteps of the 5 of Scott Austin. Behind them is number 21, Jeff Bergner, and Bergner putting some color on that chrome can on there. You can see a little bit better on there with his sponsors. Looking good looking race car. Behind them was our pole sitter, Scott Negus. He's settled into that 5th spot. He's got the flaming hot Doritos coming up behind him. And he is trying to put some distance between himself and Ryan Johnson, who is right there behind with the 77 of McRae. Gebel and Connor, your top 10. Huntoon, Janjanin, and Troy are running out your field so far here this afternoon.
Yeah, everyone running fairly neat and tidy right now in a single file line. No one really right up on the top of another driver except for Guillaume and Austin right now. Scott Austin really having to defend against Guillaume, and he's causing him to start to lose ground to Josh Nelms. He's slipping back just a little bit. That gap's up to 4 tenths now, but Nelms has not really shown like he's got a ton of speed compared to the rest of this field. Everyone has been running very similar times.
Very similar. The fast lap of the race so far belongs to Guillaume Fortin with a 19.308. Is now the 90, the 69, and Nichols has gotten around Negus. Negus back to the 7th spot, and he's up the racetrack now and pushes him back to 8th as Johnson will clear him as well off of turn number 2. So Scott Negus sliding back to the 8th spot early on in this one. He said he had good long run speed, Kelly. So maybe these drivers that he's battling are just pushing a little bit harder than he is comfortable with this junction of the race.
Yeah, he may be trying to play the long game, wait for these guys to wear their tires out, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a big gamble here at Martinsville. This is a place known for cautions, but it is not a huge field tonight. There's a lot of space on the racetrack, and space that these drivers can effectively use as Nelms is continuing to open up that gap. It's getting to almost half a second here.
That it is. We were on board with Randy Nichols as Nelms starting to pull away. As you gotta wonder, and maybe even start thinking, maybe Scott Austin's watching that rear view mirror, starting to feel the pressure from the 13 QC of Guillaume Fortin, who's got a nice little line there, a little bit higher of an entry in the turns, and then comes out a little bit lower, getting that good arc off of turn number 2. You see that right there, Kelly, off of the corner. He's going to take a peek to the inside, but tucks it back in line. He's running a little bit of I'll call it a looser line than Scott, where Scott kind of washes up off of the corner. And Guillaume trying to figure out a way to get by. And right now, that is the name of the game at Martinsville. You got to wear out your opponent. Try to figure out where you're better. Where can you make a run on them? Try to make something happen. As you see, Fortin able to hold it a little bit lower off the corner once again, but still not able to make a move on the 5 of Scott Austin.
Well, Randy Nichols was able to, or Ryan Johnson was able to make a move on JJ McRae, so he has gotten himself up into 6th place. Still got a ways to go to catch up to his championship rival, as Guillaume is now underneath Scott Austin side by side now, down into turn 1, and it is gonna be Guillaume sliding up ahead just behind them. Looked like Jeff Berger went way up the racetrack, and that allowed Randy Nichols to get through. So Guillaume moves up to 2nd. Nichols moves up into 4th.
A lot of movers so far here tonight. You take a look at the gains. Nichols up 7 spots since the start of this one. Just remember, he had to start at the back of the field due to last week's win, or 2 weeks ago win, and then Ryan Johnson picking up the win 1 week ago at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As we watch Josh Nelms still lead over Fortin Austin. Now Nichols into the number 2 spot, and how fast can he catch him? That is what everybody's going to keep an eye on, is how fast he's going to be able to catch up to those guys that he is chasing right there in front of him.
Guillaume is pushing hard now. He's got right up to the bumper of Nelms. He's been fighting that car all along the racetrack. He has decided to really put his foot down now. So I think he has been saving those tires and thinks seems like he thinks he's got the tires now to make the move for the lead. And he's putting all sorts of pressure on Josh Nelms. But just behind him, Scott Austin is looking for a opportunity to fight back. He's looking for a chance to make a move. And I just saw behind them, Jeff Berger once again was way up the racetrack, and Ryan Johnson is now into the top 5. So your top 5 is now Nelms, Fortin, Austin, Nichols, and Johnson, and that might be switching up soon as Fortin took a quick glance towards the inside going into turn 3.
Yeah, and they've really got stacked up there behind Nelms. As Austin has gone to school and running a similar line to what Fortin was running. Can't make a move that time down the back stretch, and Fortin, one of those drivers that'll be patient, but when he feels like he's got to go, the Ford Mustang might give you the hoof to move you up the racetrack as he's following that Monte Carlo. Not normally will we see it, but it is occasional there, and you see Nelms kind of running a little bit more of a defensive line up off the corner, and so far able to hold as he's led the first 36 laps here this afternoon.
Yeah, Guillaume's getting a good exit, but Nelms is keeping that car tight to the bottom on exit, not washing out too much. kills a bit of his speed down these straightaways, but it prevents Guillaume from getting that easy opportunity to the inside. But now Nelms was distracted by Guillaume glancing to the inside. He's going to go up the racetrack again. That's going to give the inside to the 13 car. Side by side now into turn 1. Guillaume at the line was just ahead. Nelms going up the racetrack. He's going to lose a spot to Guillaume. Will he lose a spot to Scott Austin? But he had a great launch down the back straightaway. Austin deep on the brakes, locks him up a little bit. He's going to try to move himself into second, and he will, coming off of the corner. Now here comes Randy Nichols trying to get himself involved in this as well, wanting to take the gap that is presented to him and get around Josh Nelms as well. But Nelms has some good grip on that outside. He's able to get a good exit down the corner, as there was a bit of a tap there between Austin and Nichols. But now Nichols getting a good exit on the corner while Nelms struggled off of turn 4.
And that's opened the door for the 38 of Ryan Johnson. So Johnson going to hold him on there. And that's what happens at Martinsville, is Ryan Johnson trying to put the good wrench Wheaties number 38 into the 4th spot. And he will do so as Nelms got up, I would say, up into the marbles up there, Kelly. And that car, once you get up a little bit higher than about a car and a half off the bottom, seems to go up there. But Randy Nichols already on the attack, trying to find a way around Scott Austin. Gives them a little bit of a tap as they will come off turn number 4. Austin on the outside, Nichols on the inside. Scott Austin going to hold it down tight, trying to hold him off. But that's going to open the door for the 38 of Ryan Johnson. Can Johnson get there? Austin throws it in deep, but Nichols to the number 2 spot off turn number 4. Randy Nichols from the back of the pack to second in 42 laps. And he's brought Ryan Johnson with him. He did not want to do that, Kelly, as those two are battling for the overall championship.
Yeah, I think he was hoping that Ryan Johnson would get caught up with some of the other cars and not follow them through every single gap. And there was a few times where they did get separated, but every time Johnson was able to make the move very quickly. And next time that the 69 car was stuck up behind a car, Johnson was able to close that gap back up. Now Johnson and Austin still side by side coming off of turn 4. Scott Austin does not want to give up that last podium spot. He wants to get himself back up towards the front. However, Ryan Johnson slowly inching ahead, and Austin is going to have to give way if he wants to not lose any more spots, because Josh Nelms was slowly creeping up along with a large pack of this field. So if Austin did not give up, then he would have possibly lost even more spots. So Scott Austin will have to slot into 4th place here with the rest of that group just ahead of Josh Nelms.
And Fortin has opened up a 1.7 second lead over second place running Nichols. Johnson, Austin, and Nelms, your top 5. Jeff Bergner, though, as you see right there behind Scott Austin, there is a gaggle of cars nose to tail. And a little bit earlier, Kelly, something going on with Rodney Hunchun. He has fallen back to the 13th spot, finds himself a little bit about 3/4 of a track behind your race leader.
I think there might be some damage to the left front of that car that I'm seeing, so that would explain maybe the lack of pace. Yeah, he's definitely got some damage to the left front. That is pushed in a little bit, so that could be causing his issues here tonight. And if he does not get a caution soon, he may be struggling throughout the whole night.
He could definitely find himself in trouble as Fortin still leads over Nichols, Johnson, and Austin, your top 4 cars. Josh Nelms starting to feel the pressure from Jeff Bergner. Bergner is starting to go back towards the right direction, towards the front. And he's brought the 77 of J.J. McRae. McRae kind of slid back a little bit there, Kelly, but starting to have that long run pace right now. And he has run some of the faster laps on the racetrack. A little bit of bumper tag off turn before. Everybody keeps it pointing in the right direction, but it was heavy contact between the 77 and the 21.
Now the 77 of McRae goes up the racetrack. That almost provided an opportunity for Scott Negus to get through and for Negus to start to try to get himself back up towards the front of this field. But he was not quite able to get there. J.J. McRae was able to find that grip again and get a good run off the corner to defend his position.
And he closes back in as Bergner right back to the back bumper of the 00 of Josh Nelms. Nelms runs there in P number 5. Is still running some decent laps there as Fortin has really opened the gap up to 2.2 seconds as we close in on the halfway point, just about 10 laps away from being at the halfway point of this race, and it has clicked off relatively quick so far. Only 17 and a half minutes of green flag racing, Kelly. Pretty move. These guys really moving around this Martinsville Speedway.
And these drivers trying to make it to that halfway point on the fuel, so they can only have to make a one stop here tonight. So keep an eye on these cars, keep an eye on the pit entry. Will anyone have to come in before we reach that halfway mark at 62, 63 laps?
That's going to be the big key. Is now Bergner takes a look underneath the 00. Can't do anything with him that time. The field working in the turn number 3. It is Bergner, McRae, Negus, and Connor battling it right there. Jan runs in spot 10. Adam Gable's 11th. Rodney Huntoon to the 12th spot. And Troyer running in spot number 13 is Randy Nichols. Going to be our first of the leaders to come down pit road here, Kelly, at lap 56.
So Nichols will likely have to make it and make another stop here unless he can really stretch this fuel out. And is this signaling that everyone else is going to be having to pit? We will wait and see as Guillaume continues to keep rolling out here. He is closing up on Brian Troyer, is less pretty much half a straightaway to Brian Troyer, the first car that will be put a lap down if Guillaume continues this pace. But he has got some fantastic pace, and actually Ryan Johnson now just matched Guillaume's pace after Guillaume was opening about a 10th per lap over the last stretch, and it looks like Jeff Bergner is going to come in now.
Yeah, Jeff Bergner going to bring the 21 down the pit road. So we're going to have to see how this is going to work out. And interesting, and a good pit stop, though, Randy Nichols only lost one lap to the race leader, who was right there behind him. So almost 2 laps, Kelly, I would say, as he came right out in front of Fortin. Oh no, the mad plowing yellow flag comes out as Dylan Connor and Adam Gebel have made contact and are in trouble. It looks like Jan also involved down there. Tough break for the drivers on pit road as our first yellow flag of the evening comes out. Virtue of the mad plowing is your go-to landscaping company in Oregon, Wisconsin, specializing in snow removal during these winter months and mowing services all summer long. Whether it's clearing your driveway or keeping your lawn pristine, they've got you covered. Give them a call today for 608-217-3528 for all your landscaping and snow removal needs. Mad Plowing, proud sponsor of the North-South Racing League, is now the field will be able to come down pit road. That's the break for the drivers that hadn't come down pit road here, Kelly. As we watch them, then we'll take a look and see what brought out our yellow flag.
And this is also perfect timing right here coming into the pits on lap 62. We'll have a couple laps under caution to save a little more fuel. And then they might be able to make it all the way to the end on this, as Scott Austin will actually be the first car out of pit road. I think Austin may have only taken 2 tires.
It is quite possible, Kelly. This is pit time.
Yep, it was only the rights.
Yep, 10 seconds. So they're going to get out there in front, and he should be our race leader when we go back to green flag racing. Let's take a look here and see what happened to Adam Gebel and Dan Janjanin. Not close on the racetrack. The number 2 comes out of the corner, and let's watch that back. Not fully sure what transpired there. Oh, Dylan Connor was turned sideways trying to move back around. So Dylan Connor was the first car to go around there, Kelly.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to go into the pits, realized he was coming way too fast, tried to abort, lost the car, spun himself around, and then just did not look to see if anyone was coming when he tried to straighten himself out. Dan Jan was trying to just get around him on the high side and unfortunately just got tagged. But as we come across the choose cone, unsurprisingly, lots of cars choosing the inside. Looks like we just have one taker on the outside right now, Ryan Johnson, trying to see if he can maybe be the lone driver to make the outside line work. And now Josh Nelms is going to cruise up there. So pretty much everyone else staying to the inside.
Field rolls in through to corner. We'll see how that works out and into the Sandy Ponds restart zone. And we are back underway. And a good start for the 5 of Scott Austin. Guillaume Fortin right down to the inside on that restart. And looks like Jan has pulled the 2 behind the pit wall. A tough break for the driver of the number 2. He'll come home with a 13th place finish here this afternoon. And Johnson going to pick up all those spots till he puts himself in the 3rd. Meanwhile, his championship rival, the 69, attacking the 91 of Gebel, will move past him. That'll put him into the 9th spot. But 6 spots between himself and Johnson after a long haul there. Everyone coming down pit road during that yellow flag. So everybody, by our calculations, Kelly, should be able to make it from this point forward.
Unless timing and scoring is wrong, it looks like Josh Nelms has not pit. But that does not make any sense to me. He must have, but yeah, timing and scoring is currently showing that Nelms has not come down pit road.
I believe he was. He was on pit road for about 49 seconds. So Nelms definitely pitted, Kelly. Looks like our statistician was sleeping on the 00. How about Brian Troyer up into the 6th spot, though? Running a very good quiet race in that number 36 as he works down here in the turn number 1 behind Nelms. Nichols is 7th. Nichols, Bergner, Connor, your top 10. Adam Gable is 11th. Rodney Huntoon on pit road, and he might be pulling number 12 behind the pit wall there. Have some damage to him. A tough break for the driver out of Vermont.
Yeah, I did go back and confirm Nelms did come down in pit. Looks like he may have only taken 2 tires, but he has pit. Should be able to make it to the end of this race. I just don't know why that is not showing up on timing and scoring. It's normally quite accurate for us, but we had to go back and verify the old way by just looking back on the tape.
Well, Kelly, thank you for doing so. How's your second job going tonight? Have you messed it up
so
yet?
Far. I have not missed it yet, thankfully, because it is a job that could unfortunately ruin a driver's night if done incorrectly. But everyone has been cleared. We are still looking good. No one be given an unnecessary DQ. As we watch the rest of this field continue to chase after Scott Austin, who has a very slim lead over Guillaume. Just a 1/4 of a second here separates those 2 drivers.
Yeah, Scott Austin or JJ McRae took a peek to the inside of Ryan Johnson. Nothing doing there. Remember, Austin only taking 2 right side tires, but track position could be king here as we close in on the later stages of this event. 50 laps to go before and able to keep that car down a little bit lower off on corner exit.
Yeah, Guillaume was looking to make that pass. Scott, remember, you have to did only take 2 tires. Guillaume, I believe, took all 4, so he'll have a little bit extra grip. Most drivers actually took 4 tires on that last pit stop. So Guillaume looking to see if he can use that grip to his advantage, see if he can get underneath Scott Austin, but there's not quite a difference in grip just yet.
Not yet. There, Nelms still hangs out in that 5th spot. 6 is Nichols, and he's going to start to feel the pressure. Randy Nichols restarted this race back in the 11th position, already up to P number 7. And he rides there behind Scott Negus. Meanwhile, back up front, Fortin applying the pressure. Ryan Johnson going to be there along with the 77 of J.J. McCrae, as they are all trying to find a way around the Austin Designs number 5. And how big would the party be in Ridgeway, Kelly, if that number 5 car went to victory lane toting the Woods Brother throwback scheme this season? A beautiful car painted by Scott himself. But how big would the party be down here?
It definitely would be big, but they cannot get ahead of themselves here because Guillaume is all over the rear bumper. All he needs is this one good corner exit. And he has been close a few laps here as, whoa, the 77 behind them of J.J. McCrae nearly getting up into the wall off of turn 4.
Got onto the loud pedal just a little bit too hard, splitting those General tires. And, it looks like Johnson and McCrae kissing the outside wall down the backstretch. No harm, no foul, as they all chase the number 5 of Scott Austin, who is out front. Has led here for the last about 25 laps here this evening. So Scott getting it done in these Grand National stock cars. Have had some great runs. Lady Luck not on his side at some points. Is now Fortin starting to lose touch a little bit. Maybe trying some stuff, cooling those tires off. Austin, though, has opened up the gap to about a car length over the 13 of Guillaume Fortin.
Last lap, there was a little bit of a slide for Guillaume, I think, coming off of turn 2. And that allowed Scott Austin to pull ahead a little bit. But Guillaume pretty much closing that gap right back up as he counters with the same lap time that Austin ran last time. But Scott Austin seemed to have slowed up a little bit to maybe try to cool off his tires. And that has allowed Guillaume to close that gap up now, as these guys are pushing hard on corner exit here. So not only are they really leaning on the right front coming into the corner, they're really pushing those right rears as well.
That they are, and they are pushing hard, as they know this time by. It'll be 40 laps to go. 20 miles of racing left here at the Martinsville Speedway for the Ridgeway 125. A sell-out crowd here on a Monday night. They love their racing in Martinsville, and we love to bring it to you here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. If you're out there watching, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let these drivers know you appreciate their efforts as they all battle here to become a North-South Racing League winner and gain some ground on the championship hunt, where it is very still tight atop of the scores for that, as it was Ryan Johnson leading by 3 points coming into tonight's race over Randy Nichols. And Scott Austin still in striking distance, Kelly, only 28 markers behind coming in here after the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Johnson and Nichols, but really can't count out the rest of the top 5. Scott Austin is pretty close, along with Connor and Fortin, and so Austin and Fortin really hoping that they can keep Johnson and Nichols behind them, so they can maybe make up a little bit of ground here tonight towards the tail end of this season.
Yeah, right now the top 5 in points separated by a mere 38 points. And that can come or go in a heartbeat. Is Fortin almost into the backside of the 5 car to check up. He's out of 38, have to check up. Gives a little bit of breathing space for Guillaume Fortin. We got a game of chess underway up front. Fortin trying to size up the number 5 car of Scott Austin. Austin keeping that wheel pretty, has not made a step out of line as of yet, and is making it very difficult for the 13 to make a move on him. Ryan Johnson's content with running in that 3rd spot. A battle for the 6th spot starting to shape up, though, as Randy Nichols pushing hard as he runs in that 6th or 7th spot. Knows he has to get closer to get up there to minimize the point bleed. If the race were to end right now, he would lose some ground to Ryan Johnson in the championship standings. That 3-point gap would grow if the race were to end this lap.
Yeah, he's got to find a way around Scott Negus. He looks to be faster than Negus, but unfortunately where he's faster is the middle of the corner, which has got absolutely nowhere for you to go, no way that you can make a pass right in the middle of one of these corners without making a bump to the driver in front of you. And he just tagged the wall coming off of turn 2, just a little scrape, but you can tell that the 69 car of Nichols is pushing hard.
Trying to make up something, and as this race goes on, and if you are watching here, and we take a look now from our Zoo Fab Garage blimp cam, the field starting to close in on that. What was a 3-car breakaway is now slowly becoming a 4-car breakaway. And Josh Nelms is closing in on them as we're going to have that conveyor belt working around the Martinsville Speedway with about 30 laps to go. And they are not too far from lap traffic, which may or may not come into effect. We're going to have to wait and see. Right now, Brian Troyer runs in at 11th spot, and he is about 10 seconds in front of our race leaders at the current time here. 28 laps to go, and I feel like this is going by quick as Negus and Nelms were swapping it up now. Nelms with a mistake. A little bit of left rear damage to the 00. This could be what the 69 of Nichols needs, but they are stacked up 2x2 in front of him. He gets to the outside of the 55 of Scott Negus, trying to work that outside. Can't quite make it work. Catches the outside wall. Because got to be careful doing that. That could really hurt the effects of your race car. Nichols trying to find a way, but Kelly, the good news for him, if he can see over the spoilers, is Negus up the racetrack, as they are all closing in on him. Oh, Negus hardened the outside wall and catches the 69. We're going to have to watch and see if that hurts that car or causes damage. Negus up the racetrack once again, as Nichols will now move into the 6th spot. And as I was saying, before all that happened, they were starting to close in on that lead group.
I'm taking a real close look at the front end of Randy Nichols' car. I think he somehow got away with that. The front bumper still looks clean, so he still has a chance to close up here, but that did cost him a little bit of time. He's almost 2 seconds back from the next car in front, who himself is a second back from JJ McRae, so he has got a long ways to go to catch up to those lead 3 who are still battling it out. But Ryan Johnson with a little bit of a mistake on turn 2 there, as he went up the racetrack, and that allowed Guillaume to pull a little bit ahead.
Do you think it was a mistake, or you think he's trying to see if there's maybe a little bit of grip up in that lane number 2 as the heat starting to transfer from the race cars into that inside groove? I think maybe just testing the waters with knowing that you don't have someone there. You see Guillaume going up there trying to get a little bit of a run up off the corner, but Austin doing a great job to stall that run out. Got the reins on that Ford Mustang as he's working on keeping those cars behind you. That time a good stack up, though. Guillaume with a good run that time off the corner. Unable to do anything. Oh, Fortin with a mistake. Here comes Ryan Johnson. Johnson took a peek to the inside. Can't get the job done.
Yeah, Guillaume was able to recover well and get a good run off of the corner to defend his position there on the outside, but starting to see a little difference in pace between Scott Austin and Guillaume and Ryan, as it looks like Scott Austin, as if you remember, only took 2 tires, and that may be starting to come into effect here. Guillaume and Johnson were looking faster, but Scott Austin is just driving very well, driving a good, solid line, and without any mistakes. He is really doing well. I haven't seen any sort of wiggle from that car in the last few laps.
No, he's doing a masterful job as we are on board for just a moment there with Ryan Johnson, watching that battle partake in front of him. McRae running in 4th, Nelms is 5th, Nichols into the 6th spot, and he is about a quarter of a straightaway behind Josh Nelms for a top 5. If he can get there and get around him, was 1 car between himself and Ryan Johnson, and McRae starting to fall off there. And Fortin, whoa, an electrical issue there just for a moment. You see Johnson back off, unsure of where the 13 had gone for just a second, Kelly. That's as coming from a former driver, it's one of the most unnerving things you can see while racing for not only a race win, but just racing in general around other cars. When they start to have that loose wire connection and become invisible, it makes it very hard to gauge where they are on the racetrack if they were to come back. It could cause big trouble for not only you, but the car that was in having electrical issues.
Especially here on such a tight track, such a close quarters track, there is not a lot of wiggle room here. As I saw Johnson that time took a little bit of a shallower entry into turn 3, maybe trying to test out if he can make a move there to try to get around Guillaume, as Guillaume still has not pulled the trigger on his own move on Scott Austin, despite the apparent difference in pace. But maybe those right fronts are starting to wear out on those two cars behind.
That they might be, is Austin still able to keep them at bay. 14 laps to go here for the driver of the number 5 of Scott Austin, who would love to go to victory lane in the North-South Racing League's Grand National Stock Tour, as he's still out front over Guillaume Fortin and Ryan Johnson. J.J. McRae runs in 4th, and Josh Nelms holding on to the 5th spot. Randy Nichols kind of has stalled out there, Kelly. You got to wonder, maybe not so much damage that we're able to see, but maybe enough to affect the handles of that number 69 car.
Yeah, you could have maybe bent something underneath the front end of that car, or maybe even damaged the radiator a little bit. Could be slightly down on power, but the front end, from what we can see, looks fine. It is also a possibility that he's just pushed too hard trying to catch back up and has burned those tires off here. As really we have a 3-car separation from the rest of the field. Everyone else spread out by about a second. So all eyes are going to be on these front 3 here as we near the 10 lap to go mark coming off of turn 4. It is only 10 to go for Scott Austin.
10 laps to go for Austin, is have a high fives from Barney, our flagman. Austin starting to have a little bit of trouble keeping that car low on corner exit. Could that present an opportunity for Guillaume Fortin? Turn number 4, much better for him. 9 laps to go for Scott Austin. This would mean a lot to the number 5 team going to victory lane here in this series. The amount of competition that races week in, week out. Scott Austin out front and looking to hold on with 8 laps to go.
And Guillaume is pushing hard, and now Ryan Johnson taking a peek. I don't know if he was trying to maybe make a move on the outside, testing the waters there, or if he maybe missed his mark a little bit, but it looked like he was kind of sailing that outside line, trying to see if he can find something different, find some extra grip out there to make the move, because right now he is just stuck in 3rd place, and he wants to maximize any points gain he can get over Randy Nichols, while Scott Austin continues to lead this thing. Just a few more laps left to go, coming to 6 to go here at line this time by, and it is still Austin over Fortin over Johnson. None of those other 2 drivers in the back can find a way around Scott Austin.
He's still able to hold them at bay this time by. Barney gonna wave at him with 5 fingers up in the air. It'll be 5 laps to go for car number 5. Scott Austin holding on to the good battle here behind him, as it looks like Johnson trying to figure out that outside, Kelly. You would think it might be coming in with the amount of long run it is. There's a lot of marbles up there, unable to do anything with it so far. 4 to go. Austin starting to sweat this one out as Fortin applying the pressure once again up at the front of this one. We know Fortin and Austin, they run in the same radio wavelength room, but at the end of the day, you're racing for a win with 3 to go.
Yeah, I do not think these guys are holding ground, trying to work together to secure the win for Scott Austin. Guillaume is looking for a way around Austin. He has been trying to pass him, just has not been able to find it. Johnson now closing back up as we get towards the 2 to go mark. Just 2 more laps around Martinsville for Scott Austin to take the win.
And traffic right in front of them, as you saw in that one camera shot. Brian Troyer's 36 could come into play here as they are on the same straightaway. In the turns 3 and 4, Austin on the binders, holding a pretty wheel, keeping the car down low, keeping the momentum broke behind him. White flag is up. It's the final trip here for the Ridgeway 125.
As they go through turn 1, there will be 1 and 2. There will be one more corner to go. Can anyone make a move? Guillaume not going to be close enough to Scott Austin. He cannot dive it in there. Ryan Johnson not going to be close enough either. It is going to be Scott Austin coming off of the corner, and he will win the Ridgeway 125.
Scott Austin picks up the win. Guillaume Fortin will come home second. Ryan Johnson third. JJ McCrae will come home in that 4th spot. 5th spot to Josh Nelms. Randy Nichols, Scott Negus, Jeff Bergner, Dylan Connor, and Adam Gebel. Your top 10. Brian Troyer, our last car on the lead lap, is both Huntoon and Janjanin out early. And Kelly, he is going to burn it down here on the front stretch. Just kidding. Going to line it up here in, well, Wood Brother fashion. And I tell you, we're going to be talking to it a very exciting Scott Austin here in just a moment's time in the post-race show brought to us by SimRacerHub.com. But before we get there, we're going to take a quick break and talk before we talk to our podium finishers.
Scott, you're talking in sim, not in.
No, my bad. We did it. We finally did it. We've been putting a lot of work in, trying to learn these cars the best we can. And finally paid off tonight. The 2-tire stop was something that I just took a risk on. The car usually turns a little better. That's bit me a couple times, but here on a paperclip, it seemed to work tonight.
And just talk about coming in to this race, we were unsure what we were going to see. Had that really long green flag run look there. And we had some drivers kind of come down. Then that yellow flag came out, gave everybody kind of a reset, a breathing moment. We know how tricky this racetrack is. What on that pit stop, was it an audible? Were you planning on 4 tires and then just at the last second decided to go 2? Obviously enough fuel to get to the end there, but man, what a great feeling this must be to be in victory lane.
Yeah, like I said, we finally did it. We usually get, seems like we get 1 a season. We pull 1 out. I was doing everything I could. I got to thank G for keeping it clean there. I was really trying to play defense while on offense at the same time, just trying to get away from those two, hoping that they would tangle with each other, but that never happened. They're 2 of the best on the track, and I think that caution came out timely for us, where it put a couple of guys lap down that we would have really had to fight hard for as well. So ended up working out this one for us, and proud of it, happy with it.
Yeah, great job here tonight. Next week, the series heads to the mile at Dover. You're going to have to go meet Miles, but have to start at the back of the pack there. But have you got many laps around there? It's one of the tracks that normally we don't see on a schedule, but we're happy to be headed to Dover, Delaware.
Yeah, we'll do what we do each week. Just try to stay open-minded, try to learn from the guys that are usually quicker than us, and then by the time the race is over, we figure it out, and we end up here talking to you. So we'll do the same thing, stick to our game plan. I am excited about Dover. It's going to be a fun track, high-banked, fast track. So, hopefully get a good field of cars there next week, and hopefully talk to you guys again.
All right, Scott. Well, congratulations on picking up the win here tonight. Who makes it all possible on this 5-car to be in victory lane?
Yeah, first and foremost, thinking about Papa Austin. He's at home right now watching, I know. Thank you to you guys for putting on a good broadcast, the league admins for always being here and making sure this thing stays running. All the competition, racing me clean there at the end, allowing me to, kind of run away and steal this one. Austin Designs, Finish Line Home Improvements are on the side of the car. Everybody else makes this possible. Thank you, guys.
All right, congratulations, Scott. Go have a hot dog and enjoy this one, and we'll see you next week in Dover.
Will do. Thanks, you guys.
Scott Austin going to pick up the Ridgeway 125 here tonight, Kelly, and had to hold off some fast company, which you're standing by with right now.
Yeah, you're now with Guillaume talking to you once again here tonight, and a tough night here, 125 laps, and not a lot of time for you to really slow down and collect your thoughts. You seem to be in battles all night long.
Oh yeah, it was definitely hard to pass tonight. I was trying my best at the beginning on the first run. Getting to the lead was the point, and I think I did a great job. I didn't want to see that caution because I had a pretty decent lead, but at the end, Scott did an amazing job protecting the bottom and slowing my run up. So he did an amazing job.
Well, you get to avoid, though, having to take the EOL at Dover. Next week, going to be at the Monster Mile. What are you expecting from that track?
We'll see, because I think I've never raced there at the Monster Mile. So it's going to be a fun one, trying to learn the track. And hopefully we can avoid getting wrecked or wrecking myself, because with not many laps under my belt. But hopefully we can keep the streak going and get a top 5.
And the last almost half of that race was a 3-car battle. How hard was it to try to focus on trying to pass Scott Austin while also having to keep an eye on Johnson behind you?
Oh yeah, it was hard. One lap I was attacking, the other lap I was defending. So it was really hard to try to get a good run on Scott. But they both did an amazing job getting me on my toes, and I tried everything, but they were just so good. Those two guys.
Well, still a solid run for you here tonight. Who would you like to thank for your second place finish?
Yeah, I have to thank everybody that follow us on the real side of racing, and also all the admin team at NSRL, and also you guys for putting up this show. It's pretty fun to race on Monday night with those guys.
All right, Guillaume. Well, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, and hopefully we will hear from you again next week at Dover.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you, guys.
That is Guillaume Fortin, driver of the number 13, and our second place finisher here tonight.
The next driver we'll talk to in the SimRacerHub.com post-race show is the driver of the Wheaties number 38. And you ate some Wheaties there, Mr. Johnson. You came all the way from the back of the pack here in what was really a tough race here overall. But talk about that battle at the end of the race, those last 50 so laps, nose to tail. How difficult is that, especially at Martinsville, not to just the monster truck your fellow competitors you're racing so hard with?
Yeah, it was difficult, to say the least. I didn't think it'd be quite that hard to pass tonight, but, I mean, two of the guys in front of me were really fast. It's hard to get an opening on a lot of these guys, and there's a couple times that I think G got in the corner too hot and got a little loose, but had I tried to stick my nose in there, I think he would have just ended up going around, or maybe both of us, and I didn't want to risk that. It was fun. I mean, trying to make a pass and it is a lot harder, especially up top, I think, here at Martinsville than trying to defend. I think it's a lot easier to defend because you already got the position and you can kind of pinch the inside guy down a bit. But entering the corner and trying to get a run on the top, you have to send it, I think, just too much harder than we were able to tonight safely. I was playing with the brake bias the whole race, trying to get the car to loosen up, and then it was too loose, so I had to tighten it up, and it was fun racing with those guys. Yeah, I mean, congrats to Scott and G, and they made a good race, and yeah, it was fun.
They're going to gain a little bit of ground on you, but not too much. You're going to stretch the margin over Randy Nichols, who came in just 3 markers behind here. 6 races now in the books, 4 races to go. We head to Dover next week. Have you had many laps around Dover? What do you think we can expect out of this North-South Racing League's Grand National Stock Tour as they head to the Dover Motor Speedway next week?
Yeah, I like Dover a lot. Had a lot of good racing there. I think it'll come down to a lot of tire conservation there, especially with the races that we've had this season. It's been really clean and green. So yeah, I think you'll have to be really smart with tires next week, and we'll see how much fuel we get. But looking forward to it. So far, it's been a really fun season, and yeah, try and keep that points lead. Randy's always fast, so you never know what's going to happen. All it takes is one mistake, and he could have the lead back, and so we'll just try and hold on to it.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on a 3rd place finish, a hard-fought 3rd place finish, as you had to start at the back of the pack this week. Who makes it all possible on this 38 car to be here in the post-race show presented by SimRacerHub.com?
Yeah, appreciate it. All the admins putting NSRL on. It's always been a great league. Glad to be here. You guys have been in the booth for broadcasting, my teammates, and everyone tuning in and watching, and all the drivers for another really good race tonight.
All right, sir. Well, congratulations on a 3rd place finish. We'll see you next week, just a little bit north as we head to Dover. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you then.
Appreciate it, buddy. You too.
All right, there you go. 3rd place finisher, the driver of the 38, Ryan Johnson, comes home 3rd, and that will do it for our SimRacerHub.com post-race show. Pardon me. SimRacerHub.com is the place where leagues keep it organized. From schedules to rosters to points, stats, and standings, SimRacer Hub makes running a league simple so drivers can focus on racing. If you're looking to track your league the easy way, check out SimRacerHub.com, the official post-race show of the North-South Racing League. Kelly, that is going to do it from what was an amazing race here tonight as we come back to some live pictures around this racetrack. Some final thoughts as we load the truck up, and we're going to head out to the Dover International Raceway, the Monster Mile, next week.
Yeah, great race here at Martinsville. Good tight finish between those top 3 drivers who are all battling it out, but it really showed that how difficult it is to pass here at Martinsville and how important it can be to make that call to come in for just 2 tires instead of 4. And it was definitely difficult for Scott. He had to drive a great race throughout the whole second half of that race, not having to put 1 foot wrong because Guillaume was right there ready to pounce on a mistake. But looking forward to the Monster Mile as well. Should put on a good show. Should be a very tricky track for these drivers, going to a track that some of these guys have not raced much at. So we will see who's going to be able to adapt and who will take home the win that race.
That it will, and we hope that you out there watching tonight will join us next Monday night for the race up at the Monster Mile. As Kelly and myself will bring you all the live action next Monday night right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. A great night of racing where we saw Scott Austin go to victory lane for the first time in the Grand National Stock Tour here for the North-South Racing League. And we would like to thank our sponsors of the North-South Racing League, Sandy Paws Rescue, RC2 Promotions and Graphics, Zoofab Garage, Mad Plowing, along with J&D Farms and SimRacerHub.com. On behalf of everybody here at the North-South Racing League, we thank you for tuning on in tonight. Keep it wheels down, and we'll see you in Turn 3. Good night, everybody.